A single whale has acquired more gold than 85 nations put together, and it's flying under the radar. Gold recently reached $5,600, climbing 30% just in January, not across 12 months, but in 30 days. Silver hit $120, surging 65% within a month. This represents the largest wealth redistribution in contemporary history, and it's unfolding at this very moment. While you're browsing, while you're waiting for financial experts to guide you, they aren't hoping. They aren't hesitating. They're accumulating every 24 hours. 140 tons of actual gold, $24 billion worth, stored in a nuclear facility in the Swiss Alps, protected by steel barriers constructed to withstand World War II. Most individuals will never learn this information is available. The corporate financial press won't broadcast it. Your financial institution won't mention it because what's occurring now challenges the entire framework they benefit from. But when this video concludes, you'll understand everything. You'll learn precisely who this whale is and why they're stockpiling gold as if the financial infrastructure is about to crumble. You'll find out there isn't just one whale, there's a second, significantly larger, considerably more influential, gathering over 6,000 tons of gold while constructing a framework to substitute the US dollar. You'll grasp why silver could be the single greatest chance of the coming decade. And I'm going to share 3 specific forecasts for the upcoming days. On the record, so stick with me, this matters. Welcome to the concealed economy. Like, subscribe immediately and join the hundreds of thousands who reject being left uninformed. Now let me reveal what most individuals will never witness. Let's begin with the figures, because figures don't deceive. Gold concluded 2025 up 65%, the strongest year since 1979, but that was previously. This year, we're barely past January. Gold has already climbed another 30%. If you had invested $10,000 in gold on January 1st, you'd have $13,000 today, $3,000 in 30 days for zero effort. But gold is the gradual one. Silver is where things get wild. Silver concluded 2025 up 150%. And this year, January by itself, silver climbed another 65%. Silver recently touched $120 per ounce. The prior all-time peak was $49. That benchmark lasted for 45 years. Nobody could breach it. Silver didn't just surpass it. Silver more than tripled it. And it's still ascending. While you were maintaining your regular life, this was occurring. And here's what disturbs my sleep at night. This isn't coincidental. This isn't individual traders on Reddit. There's a purchaser, a substantial systematic purchaser, gathering gold at a rate that makes most nations appear like beginners. Now, let me share something that will totally transform your outlook. There are 195 nations in the world. How many of them genuinely possess gold? Only 106. 89 countries have nothing. 0. Vacant storage facilities. But here's where it becomes troubling. Canada possesses 0 gold. Canada, among the wealthiest countries on Earth, the 4th biggest gold manufacturer in the world, headquarters to Barrick Gold, Kinross, Agnico Eagle, and Canada, possesses 0 gold stockpiles. Not a single bar, not a single ounce. You know what the Bank of Canada stated? Gold doesn't align properly within the asset matching structure. Translation: they chose to rely on US dollars rather than gold. Norway, among the richest nations per capita, they possess 37 tons. In 2004, they liquidated everything, vanished. Australia, enormous gold manufacturer, minimal stockpiles. New Zealand, 0. These prosperous countries examined America and declared, "We have faith in you. We'll simply retain your paper guarantees." Believe me, brokenomics. And while they were liquidating their gold for paper, somebody else was purchasing. This first whale currently possesses 140 tons of actual gold, more than Greece, more than Qatar, more than Australia, more than Belgium, Philippines, Finland, and Bolivia put together, more than 85 nations. They're positioned among the top 30 gold possessors in the complete world, occupying the same position as countries. And they're not decelerating. They're purchasing it daily, billions of dollars monthly. Now I'm going to reveal who they are, but I need you to continue viewing after I disclose this identity because understanding who they are is merely the initial layer. Comprehending why they're executing this is where it becomes concerning. And comprehending what they're strategizing is where it becomes frightening. The first whale is designated Tether. Some of you identify that identity, some of you don't. Let me clarify it plainly. Tether developed USDT. It's designated a stable coin. Consider it like virtual dollars. 1 USDT is intended to equal 1 US dollar. Millions of individuals across the world utilize it to transfer money, to exchange, to preserve value beyond the conventional banking framework. $187 billion worth of USDT in distribution right now. That establishes Tether among the biggest financial organizations on Earth. larger than most financial institutions, larger than most nations' complete economies. And this corporation has been purchasing actual gold, as if the financial framework is about to disintegrate. Every single detail I'm sharing with you is verified, public knowledge that somehow nobody is addressing. Now here's the inquiry that should disturb you. Why? Why is Tether purchasing gold at a rate that surpasses most countries? The CEO, Paolo Arduino, stated something in a Bloomberg conversation that I can't cease contemplating. He stated, "We're soon transforming basically into one of the largest gold central banks in the world." He didn't state gold possessor. He didn't state investor. He stated gold central bank. He also stated he anticipates geopolitical competitors of the United States to introduce a gold-backed substitute to the dollar, and when that occurs, Tether desires to be the central bank for that innovative framework. The CEO of a corporation with nearly $200 billion in distribution is publicly wagering that the dollar's supremacy is terminating. This isn't some arbitrary individual on the internet. This is a billionaire investing $1 billion monthly into gold. And I wish I could inform you that's the most severe of it, but it intensifies. You want to understand where they preserve all this gold? In a previous Cold War nuclear facility buried profoundly in the Swiss Alps, constructed during the 1960s to endure nuclear conflict, Arduino designated it a James Bond type of location. Thick steel barriers engineered to resist a bomb detonation, multiple layers of armed protection, a stronghold constructed to endure the termination of civilization. And every single week, additional gold gets transported into this subterranean storage. While you're commuting to employment, while you're managing rent, while you're questioning why everything continues getting more costly, they're occupying a nuclear facility with gold. Now you might be considering, okay, one whale is purchasing gold. Fascinating, but perhaps isolated. I contemplated that also initially. But then I uncovered the second whale, and this one establishes Tether appears small. The second whale possesses over 6,000 tons of gold, valued more than $500 billion at present prices. And they're not merely purchasing gold, they're constructing a completely innovative financial framework, a gold-backed framework engineered to substitute the US dollar. They initiated the initial version on October 31st, 2025. Let me inform you who they are. The second whale is BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, plus Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Iran, the United Arab Emirates. Additional nations joining annually. The roster continues expanding. Together, they constitute 45% of the world's population, over 35% of international GDP, more than half of the world's petroleum manufacturing. This isn't a peripheral group. This is almost half of humanity collaborating together toward a mutual objective. Between 2020 and 2024, BRICS central banks acquired more than 50% of all gold purchased internationally. Let that register. More than half of all gold acquired on Earth transferred to this one collection of countries. China currently possesses over 2,200 tons, and those are merely the authorized figures. Many specialists believe the actual figure is substantially higher. Russia possesses over 2,300 tons. They've been preparing for this juncture for years. India possesses 880 tons and ascending rapidly. They simply continue purchasing. Combined, BRICS possesses over 6,000 tons of gold. That's more than most individuals can even fathom. But they're not merely hoarding gold. They're constructing something with it, something that could transform everything. On October 31st, 2025, BRICS initiated something designated the Unit. The Unit is an innovative framework for international exchange settlement. It's engineered specifically to permit nations to exchange with each other without utilizing US dollars. No more depending on the American financial framework. No more threat of sanctions. No more dollar supremacy. 40% of the unit is supported by actual gold in genuine storage facilities. 60% is supported by a collection of BRICS currencies. The Chinese yuan, the Russian ruble, the Indian rupee, the Brazilian real, the South African rand. This isn't hypothesis. This isn't a white paper. This isn't some strategy for 10 years from now. They initiated it. 100 units were distributed on October 31st. Each unit connected to 1 gram of gold, a functioning prototype of an innovative financial framework. And here's what most Americans don't comprehend. Russia and China already execute almost 90% of their bilateral exchange in their own currencies. No dollars. None. Zero. The de-dollarization of international exchange isn't approaching. It's already here. It's occurring right now while most individuals are totally unaware. Now remember what Tether's CEO stated. He anticipates geopolitical competitors to introduce a gold-backed substitute to the dollar. He wasn't formulating a forecast. He was observing it develop and positioning himself to benefit from it. These two whales perceive the same future approaching. They're both competing to gather as much gold as feasible before everyone else discovers what's occurring. And here's what should frighten you. These two whales aren't competing with each other. They're merging, moving toward the same future. A future where gold is currency again, and the dollar merely paper. One is a private corporation preparing to transform into the gold central bank of an innovative framework. The other is half of humanity constructing that framework right now. And you're merely discovering today. Now I need to address silver. And I understand I probably resemble that individual at the gathering who won't cease discussing precious metals. But remain with me because what's occurring in silver might be the most asymmetric chance I've witnessed in my complete career. Most individuals think silver merely follows gold. Gold ascends, silver ascends. That's dangerously incorrect. Silver doesn't follow gold. Silver outperforms gold every single cycle. 2025 gold gained 65%. Silver gained 150% more than double. January 2026, gold gained 30%. Silver gained 65%. Again, more than double. This is a pattern based on something designated the gold to silver ratio. The gold to silver ratio informs you how many ounces of silver equals 1 ounce of gold. Historically, this ratio averages around 50 to 60. In April 2025, this ratio spiked above 100. Silver was absurdly undervalued. What occurred next? Silver detonated. But here's what establishes silver even more fascinating. Gold is primarily a monetary metal, preservation of value, jewelry. Silver is monetary and industrial. Dual demand solar panels. Every single one requires silver. The solar industry consumes over 25% of all silver mined internationally. Electric vehicles. Every EV contains 25 to 50 Gt of silver, 3 times more than a gasoline automobile. AI data centers, those substantial buildings powering ChatGPT, they require enormous electrical infrastructure. Silver possesses the highest electrical conductivity of any element. Nothing else approaches. In 2025, the U.S. government added silver to the critical minerals roster, right alongside lithium and rare earths, national protection. But supply is disintegrating. Silver mine manufacturing has been declining for over a decade. 2025 marked the 5th consecutive year of supply shortage. And here's something most individuals have never heard. This might be the most significant detail I inform you today. There's less investable silver above ground than gold. Let me state that again because it sounds impossible. Gold is more costly. Gold is more prestigious. Gold is what central banks hoard. But there is genuinely less available silver in the world than gold. How is that feasible? Because silver gets consumed, utilized up, destroyed in industrial processes. The silver in your phone, in your laptop, in your automobile, it will never be recovered. It's vanished forever, dispersed in landfills across the planet. Gold merely occupies storage facilities. It gets recycled. It persists for centuries. Total above-ground investable silver around 1 to 2 billion ounces. Total above-ground gold around 6 billion ounces. There's potentially 3 to 6 times more available gold than silver. Yet silver is valued at a tiny portion of gold. Do you perceive the asymmetry? Do you perceive the chance? And then in December 2025, China released a bomb. Export limitations on silver. Elon Musk himself tweeted about it. He stated, "This is not beneficial. Silver is required in many industrial processes." When Elon Musk is publicly cautioning about silver supply, something substantial is occurring. Demand detonating, supply disintegrating, less silver than gold. 5 consecutive years of shortage, China limiting exports. What do you think occurs to price? Precisely what we're witnessing. It ascends vertically. Now, let me reveal the bigger perspective of what's driving all of this. The US dollar recently experienced its most severe decline since 1973. You understand what occurred in 1973? That was the year America officially terminated the gold standard. The year President Nixon declared the dollar would no longer be supported by gold. The year paper transformed into purely paper. For 50 years, the world proceeded along with it. They relied on the paper. They possessed dollars. They exchanged in dollars. They constructed their complete financial frameworks around dollars. That reliance is now fracturing. The dollar has declined over 10% against major currencies in merely 6 months. The Federal Reserve is under political assault. The Department of Justice has initiated investigations into Fed Chair Jerome Powell. The independence of the central bank is being questioned publicly for the first time in decades. Foreign nations are liquidating treasury bonds. They're reducing dollar stockpiles. They're constructing substitute frameworks. The foundation is trembling. And when the foundation of a currency trembles, capital escapes to protection. Where does it transfer? To gold, to silver, to to hard assets that have been currency for 5,000 years, to things that cannot be manufactured by a committee in Washington. The previous time conditions appeared like this. In the late 1970s, gold transferred from $35 per ounce to over $800, a 23 times increase. Individuals who positioned themselves early in that cycle constructed generational prosperity, prosperity that their grandchildren still benefit from today. Individuals who disregarded the indicators observed their savings lose purchasing power for an complete decade. They labored harder and harder merely to remain in the same position. Are we observing history repeat now? I guaranteed you forecasts. Specific forecasts on the record. Here they are. Forecast 1. Gold breaches $6,000 before the termination of March. Here's why. Central bank purchasing is operating at 60 tons monthly. BRICS countries are accelerating acquisitions before their next summit. Tether alone is adding 4 to 8 tons monthly at this rate of demand with constrained supply. 6,000 is almost mathematical. Every single decline gets purchased within hours. The purchasers are relentless. Forecast 2, silver breaches $150 within 60 days. The reasoning is plain. The supply shortage is now acute, not theoretical. Acute. The gold-to-silver ratio still possesses substantial room to compress. Industrial demand isn't optional, it's structural. Solar panels require silver, EVs require silver, AI requires silver, there's no substitute. When silver moves, it moves rapidly because the market is tiny compared to gold. 150 is genuinely conservative if the ratio normalizes to historical averages. Forecast 3. At least one more major economy announces substantial gold acquisitions before the termination of February. The BRICS momentum is accelerating. Nations are observing each other. Nobody desires to be the final one possessing only paper when the music ceases. I anticipate an announcement within weeks, not months. Observe for it. Screenshot this video. Preserve these forecasts. Return in a few days and inform me if I was accurate. I'll formulate a follow-up video and we'll examine these together. Accurate or incorrect, I'll possess it publicly. Now let me share 3 scenarios for what could occur from here. I've assigned each one a designation so you remember them. Scenario 1, the steady climb. Gold and silver continue ascending at the present rate. 10% here, 15% there. Central banks continue gathering. BRICS continues constructing their framework. The dollar weakens gradually over several years. No dramatic collapse, merely slow erosion of purchasing power. Your savings lose value, not overnight, but month by month, year by year. This is the most probable scenario. And honestly, it might be the most hazardous because it occurs so gradually that most individuals never notice until it's too late. Scenario 2. The avalanche. Something fractures. A banking crisis, a currency crisis, a major geopolitical event. Confidence disintegrates suddenly. Gold spikes to 8,000 or higher, silver to 200. The transition that was supposed to require years occurs in months. Everyone panics into hard assets at once. Supply cannot meet demand. Premiums detonate. Individuals who waited too long cannot obtain actual metal at any price. This scenario is feasible, maybe even probable given present tensions. Scenario 3. The fake out. The Fed pivots aggressively. They elevate rates to defend the dollar. Confidence temporarily returns. Gold and silver correct hard, maybe 30% or more. Individuals who purchased at the top get shaken out. They liquidate at the most severe possible moment. Then 6 months later, the underlying problems resurface. The rally resumes even stronger. This would be the most painful scenario for individuals who don't comprehend what they possess, and the most profitable for those who do. Which scenario do you think is approaching? Release your answer in the comments. I examine every single one and I'll pin the most insightful forecast. Now let me be extremely clear about something. I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. I'm a researcher who has invested hundreds of hours studying these trends. I'm sharing what I've discovered. What you execute with it is your decision and your responsibility. There are genuine threats here. Gold and silver can be volatile. We've witnessed 30% declines before. It can occur again. Nothing in markets is guaranteed. But here's what I understand with certainty. The largest participants in the world, the ones with billions of dollars, the ones operating corporations and governments, they're formulating moves, substantial moves. And those moves all indicate the same direction away from paper, toward gold and silver, toward hard assets. The inquiry isn't whether transformation is approaching. The transformation is already here. The inquiry is which side of that transformation you'll be on. The first step is awareness. You currently possess that. You understand details that 99% of individuals don't understand. The second step is education. Proceed deeper on anything that resonated with you today. Verify what I stated. Execute your own research. The third step is preparation. Examine at your own situation. Where are your savings? What are they denominated in? Let me depart you with this. Imagine the International Financial Framework is a giant game of musical chairs. The music has been performing for 50 years. Everyone is dancing around, relying that when the music ceases, there will be a chair for them. But some participants have noticed something. The chairs are disappearing one by one quietly. And while everyone continues dancing, and the smart participants, they ceased dancing. They commenced grabbing chairs. Tether grabbed 140 tons worth of chairs. They're still grabbing more every single week. Bricks grabbed 6,000 tons worth of chairs. They're constructing a whole innovative section of chairs merely for themselves. Central banks across the world are grabbing chairs. And most regular individuals still dancing, still distracted, still relying that a chair will be there when they require it. When the music ceases, and it always ceases eventually, there won't be enough chairs for everyone. That's not pessimism. That's not doom and gloom. That's mathematics. Plain supply and demand. The inquiry is brutally plain. Will you possess a chair? At the beginning of this video, I informed you one whale purchased more gold than 85 nations put together. Now you understand there are two whales both competing to gather gold before the music ceases, both preparing for a future that most individuals cannot even imagine. The inquiry isn't whether you were asleep previously. The inquiry is whether you're awake now. Release your valuable feedback about the video in the comments right now, and I'll pin the most insightful comments so everyone can witness who comprehended this moment. I'm going to formulate more exciting videos about gold and silver because we're in an extremely exciting phase where anything can occur. And join my channel if you desire to support my efforts. Also transmit this video to one individual who requires to witness it. Just one, a family member, a friend, a colleague, someone who's still dancing while the chairs disappear. And if you're not subscribed yet, correct that right now. Hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell because this is merely the beginning of what I'm going to reveal you. I labor hard to bring an innovative angle to the story and ensure everyone comprehends it. You're going to remember occupying here, observing this video, learning about the two whales competing to gather gold while the world was distracted, and you'll declare one of two things. You'll declare, I witnessed it approaching, I prepared, I protected myself and the individuals I love. Or you'll declare, I wish I had paid attention when I possessed the chance. That choice is being formulated right now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. I'll witness you in the next.